1 second. Noise gate. There we go. Hello. I'm already feeling a little sweaty. It's warm in here today. Holy sword for us. Oh, he's in a spawn room. I have a little pimple on my chest and it hurts really bad. Ah. Hello, Lulu.
Hello, Ribbon.
Owa, owa.
Ow, ow.
Owa, owa.
How's it going? Ow, ow.
It's pretty good. I was doing a little bit of model work. Dead?
Dead.
ECB?
This is the first time I've been in VR in a month.
Oh, goodness. Lulu.
He's taking a break.
Well, at least it won't
It's
be
a
a
good
super
break.
long one.
That's what you think until it's a 12-hour conversation.
Well, you've got me there. We've done it before.
Never know.
Especially as Stark and Flora.
You never know.
You never know.
Did you have a map or did you want me to find a map?
I can push him out. Yeah. I had assumed it would be in the standard Lucian map. However, I have many maps.
We can use the standard Lucian map. Yes.
It's up to you. I have many maps that we can appear to.
I have the standard Lucian.
I also have the standard Quill map. Presently, if you want to go to the tavern.
I have not been to the tavern.
Would you like to?
I would like to show up at your tavern, yes.
Understood.
Plus, I don't know if Quill has a coin anyway, so that could be part of the roleplay.
No, I don't think he does have a coin. Bye-bye!
Bye-bye.
He has a contact, but not a coin. Mini map, said boy. Ow! I'm a fucking idiot. It is officially 10 minutes in to me streaming, and I already hurt myself.
What have you done?
I was doing a little dance, I was doing a little jig, and I slammed my heel right into the metal rod of my chair.
Why do you like
And it hurt really bad.
Why are you like this?
I exist as a construct.
Don't we all really? A liminal space.
A liminal space. Are any of these choices real, or are we just in a simulation?
In a simulation, the answer may surprise you.
Yeah. That means I don't have to pull up music, because guess what? This is Vincept music. Woo! It's stream safe.
Oh.
Fuckers. Okay.
Whoa.
Whoa. Is there anything we need to go over before we start?
No, because I think this is the first time they've seen each other in a long while. So it's
no. They haven't seen each other. You haven't seen Quill since his hair was short and he wore a sweater.
And you haven't seen Lucian since pre-explosion.
Yeah. It was basically like, oh hey, the lake's gonna explode. Oh, okay.
I'm ready when you are.
Okay, I'm gonna go sit in my spot. Give me like 2 minutes. I'm speed.
I'm so fast! I'm so fast no one can stop me!
Oh, hi, Lulu. Thank you for the sub.
I feel like I should make the running speed a little faster!
I know how to alert him that I'm ready. Ooh, because I have a whole thing for it. Yeah. Bluey. I have a whole thing just for it. Don't I? There's my gay. My gayness on displayness. Time for Quill to sit behind the bar. His favorite thing to do. Exactly where he belongs. Exactly where he likes to be. The bar. His favorite place. We just started. And now I need to go ahead and get into the Quill voice. Because otherwise, I feel like I'm failing. I forgot to fill up my water. What a fool I am. Coming. He's not close yet. Let me beep, 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 beep. It may not be water, but it's liquid. Apple juice. Oh. God bless you, Mott's. I should really get a different apple juice, though, because this one's kind of acidy. And I don't... Ow, that hurt my teeth. I shouldn't open plastic with my teeth anymore. And yet, I'm going to do it.
Yes.
There he is.
Does seem to be the place. Hello there, Quill.
Hi. It's been a while.
Indeed. Like what you've done with your hair.
Normally it's a little nicer, but I couldn't put it up today.
Please, you've met my wife. You know how used to I am. Yeah.
I'm sure. I normally like to braid it, but I'm tired lately.
How have you been? I imagine we have quite a bit to catch up on.
It should be a lot, yeah. Can I get you anything to drink before we sit down?
Oh, do you have anything... Well, you wouldn't, would you?
That depends.
Well, I was just thinking of this seafoam brew I used to drink some time ago, but it's an age past.
Probably not that.
Something sweet.
I do have sweet. I've been making, I made a specific thing for Leaf, and it seems like it got really popular.
It does give me some reminiscent vibes.
Mm.
I used to own a tavern myself.
I used to run one for a long time. Somehow it doesn't surprise me that you did.
Mine was a little more tropical. Mine was on the ocean.
I can imagine. Here. It's a juice blend.
Indeed sweet. Very nice.
Sunlight nectar. I made it for Leaf. I have a Leaf drink. I have X drink. Me.
Has grand taste.
I would hope he
I can
does.
convince you to get a seafoam brew.
If you can teach me how to make it. And as long as it's not alcoholic.
Shouldn't be terribly hard. I did have a non-alcoholic version for my niece.
That I can do. I don't like to serve alcohol. I have it for cooking, but
Fair enough.
not for drinking.
Personal choice. With your friends like I've had, alcohol becomes a necessity for conversations, so...
I know
wouldn't
some...
like to sit in a room with a man named Cassidy. without a drink in his hand, otherwise it's going to turn into a fight.
I understand people needing it, but I just don't like to provide it. Considering it hurts people, technically.
It is technically a poison. I never truly
Yes.
understood that when I came to land, why the people on the land were so abhorrent to poisoning themselves, but I was able to profit off of it for a good amount of time, so...
That's kind of why I don't serve it. I just can't really understand the reasoning of drinking something that poisons you. And not even slowly. I mean, I understand red wine has health benefits, but people kind of overdo it.
True. Right. Shall I start or shall you?
Mm. How about you start?
Hmm. Well, I guess I should start from when we parted ways. It's been some time since we've spoken, never anything further than a few sentences.
Really has, hasn't it?
I went to the other side of the break in the portal to close it from the other side, and I had it close on me, damn nearly.
Mm.
It ejected me back into the water plane, at least that water plane. Got lost for a little bit of time until Julie was able to find me. I was a bit hurt, but nothing Julie couldn't heal. And found my way back around near this plane, and decided I'd settle into a demi-plane nearby. I've actually been teaching a couple of the old Pathfinders as they make their way nearby, asking for aid.
I think
And taking
Aurora
on
has mentioned you a
some
little bit.
apprentices. Yes, she's been learning a good bit. Also taken on another apprentice, Cordelia.
I haven't heard that one before.
Someone who was, well, they're kin to the ocean, but don't know much about the roots, so I've been teaching them about that.
Oh.
Outside of that, I took a small trip with my son, Julian, who had a very interesting matter in a fireplane to deal with that was awful. And then spent some time with my daughter Luli and Julie at the house for a bit of reminiscing before the holidays.
Well, for the most part, that sounds pretty good, actually.
I didn't have to get my body replaced again, so didn't have to do that arduous process. It was only like a 300-year recovery time this time.
Mm. Even for someone as old as me, that's hard to wrap my head around.
Time between the planes is very odd.
Well, I guess it makes sense. Or, well, I already knew that to some degree. It's very wild.
Well, granted, I used the time that passes would have passed here as a correlation. But some planes just move faster or slower. Others, things happen in instances. Whole planes that exist within what would be the span of a single moment
Mm.
in this plane. This place being a nexus plane does complicate things.
Even planets away kind of change things. Technically, I think it's only been maybe a year or two here. But for me and Leaf, it was 10 years. I think after we packed everything up with Pathfinders, or everything we could, just the essentials basically, we headed off to Leaf and Blinks's planet, Paradise. We went with Solana and Sarah. They left about 5 years in, and then it was just me and Leaf for a while. Kind of uneventful. It was strange, but mostly just me and Leaf relaxing, or trying to. The
Fair.
pantheon on that planet is interesting. Most of them either were jealous of me, hated me, or tried to regale me as something. Treated me weirdly nice. But it was mostly jealousy or hatred because I was close to Leaf. After we got back to the plane, to this planet, not plane, oh god. We got back to trying to clean things up with the Fae in the Whispering Wood. I managed to find a few things not exploded, so I put up the badges here, and we set up this tavern. And me and Leaf finally started dating. We finally had
Congratulations.
more than 5 minutes alone and realized we have been in love for a long time.
It's good to hear.
It seemed like we were both missing signals.
I had thought for a time there that I may have been reading things wrong, but good to know that I'm still reading things properly.
It seems like everybody could tell that we loved each other except for us. Probably because we were so
Love is a
worried.
powerful thing, but at least interest was definitely there.
We've
With
known
everything
each
going
other.
on, though, it's no surprise.
Yeah. Even in Paradise, we didn't really get any time alone. It was more relaxing than everything that happened in Pathfinders, but still a lot.
Still very hectic.
We split off for a little while. While Leaf was still trying to figure things out with the Fae, I went to go find X because I got a strange message from him. He was upset about us leaving him behind. I got a little hurt, but things ended up working out. I've since adopted him. Which is a good thing.
I mean, I would hope so. Why do you think you would adopt someone as a bad thing? Usually having children
No.
is a universal good in my experience.
To be fair, I consider a lot of people from Pathfinders like children, but X is a little different.
Extended family, in a sense, yes. I see it as well.
Obviously, now things have gotten a little complicated, which is why I specifically wanted to talk to you outside of just catching up.
Complicated because of the relationship and your ward as well? Or
No, actually,
other things?
all of the family stuff is easy. Well, mostly easy. Things with Leaf are even easier, but Buttons, did something with her magic. It seems like she either connected to or opened up another plane. More specifically, a mirror plane. The reflection of herself managed to possess a doll, one of her constructs, and has since become sentient, independent from her. And now, both it and
I
Buttons
know a bit about
want
this,
to
actually.
separate.
Aurora actually asked me a bit of advice on this as well.
I'm glad I'm not alone in talking about it. Initially, Aurora X, myself, and Buttons were all trying to figure it out together. Leaf helped too. At first, it seemed like... At first, we were told by this other Buttons, that they call themselves Patches now, that they wanted to swap places with Buttons. That they wanted to swap places with a lot of people. Like, swap the reflections over. But now it seems like they've changed their mind. A few others from Orlando Saka, they seem to have made a relationship with it. With them. A familial one. They've asked me to give over one of the pieces of the mirror that we found. Initially to stop any of that from happening. I told them I wasn't willing to unless I can actually trust that nothing bad will happen to Buttons. But I don't know that I can.
I think what you're saying worries me even greater than what Aurora told me. Because while I understand the worry for Buttons and their safety, there's an even greater worry at hand here. There's a whole reason I taught many of the Pathfinder's Plains Killer spell in the first place. If Buttons did open a region of a new space, a new plane, and it's encroaching, like we've seen the planes encroach upon the Nexus plane before, then that being and more of their kind coming further and further into this realm could cause an event, and not a good one.
I'm aware. Which is why I've been going along with the ideas of this other party. Not of Buttons, but the people, the other, with Patches, but the people who are aligned with them. I'm worried that they're going to end up making things worse. To separate Buttons, they're Buttons from Patches, they want to find an artifact that's apparently within this plane that should separate them. But that requires them to all go into this plane and their reflection selves to go into our plane. Because they apparently normally can't be at once. Even Patches isn't really in our plane. She's still possessing a construct.
And they are trusting that.
It seems so. They have had much more time
Seems
with...
foolish, if you ask me.
I agree. If it were up to me, we would have sent it back to their plane and just ended it there. But it's not up to me. So now all I can do is try to at least make sure this goes more smoothly than if I'm not there. I was hoping you'd have advice or protections for it.
told Aurora when she first came to me about this that one entity coming over was less of a problem because it could be contained and the breach could be sealed, and that entity could likely be solidified in this plane one way or the other.
Mm.
But the more and more entities that come through, the more destabilized entrants could come, the closer we get to destabilization. And I also told Aurora that if this plane were to be destabilized, I was not against stepping in to stabilize it.
Mm.
Even if that meant getting rid of Buttons or anyone else who was causing the destabilization. Because the lives of everyone else on this plane are worth more than just 5 or 6 people thinking they know what they're doing. That may sound cruel, but it is the only way to
I
ensure that people
understand.
stay safe.
Given everything we dealt with in Pathfinders, I know that this is dangerous. It's why I'm
Incredibly
reaching
so.
out to you.
There are methods, trainings for plane walking that can protect you against certain things like possession or instant death in some cases.
Mm.
The issue I find is if this is something akin to, say, the Shadowfell, or a mirrored version of us that touches on more the darker side. And the elements that break through in those sort of realms are alien to me, because they're not meant to be understood.
I'm not entirely certain that this plane existed before this spell was cast. Or if it did, that maybe it was even paused. The way that Buttons talked about this spell, it's voodoo. It's not necessarily any plane in specific, but one that may have been created via a spell initially by someone else and reactivated by Buttons. Accidentally, in this case.
Highly possible. Planes come and go for many various reasons. Some demi-planes, could even be a demi-plane, are created off small magics or large magics, even unintentionally so. The issue comes in finding out if such a plane is a virus or parasite or something harmless. There is the potential that it is a demi-plane that was created, much like the one that I reside in, that can't encroach on other planes. It does not have the power within it to do so, in which case it would be less of a threat. But again, the only way to know such a thing would be to go inside, and if I myself would not want to wish to go inside, because if it is true that it is a mirror, I would be worried what other version of me would come out.
That's the exact reason why Leaf isn't coming. Leaf is far too strong, and if the other version of himself did wish to cause harm, it certainly would be capable of it.
Quite.
So far, it seems like the party going in would consist of 4 to 5 people, including myself.
You happen to know what elements these individuals practice, and if any?
One of them is a construct. So I'm not exactly sure
With a
of their
soul,
magic.
I assume.
I am not certain. I haven't met them before. Initially, it was going to be a person known as Patty, but now apparently it is a construct version of themselves that's going in. So I'm not really certain what that means. Unfortunately, they haven't kept me
Does
very
that mean a
updated.
construct version of them in the Shadowverse? It's all very confusing.
But one apparently initially used to be a familiar, or even may still be a familiar. And then the
Interesting.
others, I know one of them is water.
Is the familiar able to step across a plane? Have they plane crossed before?
They've already been into this plane, the mirror one, and apparently have a mirror self, which is apparently friendlier than the others.
Odd. And the other two you mentioned, sorry?
Mm. One of them could potentially be X, but I probably prefer he doesn't come. I've honestly asked him to watch buttons if he can. According to the patches, this may have an effect on buttons. From what they said, it won't be significant, but I don't have enough reason to trust that they aren't lying. So having somebody with buttons makes me feel better, at least.
Hmm.
Uh,
You should have someone with all of them.
mm.
Who knows what they'll do
Leaf
if
is
they're let
going to
out
be
free to the
watching.
world.
Leaf, the not constructed patty, and the friendly mirror version of Knight are all going to be watching them.
I don't think you should consider that last one friendly, regardless.
I don't, but that's why Leaf and non-constructed patty were there. Honestly, I don't trust really most of it, but I wouldn't have done this if at least Leaf wasn't there watching my own mirrored self. I have no idea what to expect.
Hmm. I can prepare a few objects that may be able to assist. Sort of similar to the ones I gave to the Pathfinders when I was teaching them.
Hmm.
Like a water-loading crystal that can get you quick passage out of the plane to a demi-plane to be sent back here instead of having to go to any arbitrary opening.
It seems like the way to enter it is mostly any reflective surface.
Is that the same way to exit it?
From what they've said. Not just this Patches, but the other people who have actually entered the plane.
I will still prepare one just in case. I don't trust anything to do with other planes that I haven't yet explored and seen the workings
I
of.
will take any help that you can offer.
Additionally, protection runes against possession.
Mm.
We can prepare a set of them, though they will only last for an hour per person.
Mm.
It's the best I can do on the current protection runes I have if I'm making several in such a short time.
Hopefully, we won't be there more than an hour.
I would hope not. The bigger thing, though, and the one I'm more worried about, is I would like to have someone who is watching whatever opening you go through for abnormalities.
Mm.
I can give you a stability rune for Leaf to put on it once you go through, but with more of their kind coming through, the chances of outbreak increase.
Mm.
If it isn't a demi-plane, and it is in fact a full plane that has come into existence even with a spell, the more and more that cross over, both us into their realm and them into ours, causes outbreak to be more likely. Additionally, for them, I should give you two stability runes, one to put on the side you go through. Because there's also the opportunity for the reverse to occur. Our realm to spill into theirs.
Mm.
And again, I have no idea what that would cause.
Initially, I was less worried about things crossing over because everything that we were told was that the only things that existed there were reflections of other people, and they don't have full free will. They can only pass over if someone passes through, but now I've been told there are other things called shattered, which is very ominous.
I have seen two mirror dimensions in my time. Both were very different from each other. One was a reflective backdrop of others. It was connected to a nexus plane similar to this one, and everyone who was in it, people I'd met before, were the exact opposite of individuals I had met on the plane. But what opposite meant varied at different times. It could have been just a simple personality or an event in their life that had changed.
Mm.
The other mirror world I went to was odd and dystopian. It was as if the world itself had been mirrored and changed, and then all the people had to react to that change. Mirror worlds are tethered to the plane they spawn from, but they can become planes in and of themselves and create new, interesting, insane creations of them all. If in fact the plane was created initially with mere versions of the plane it was spawned from, this one, may be developing into a full plane. It's now creating its own life.
Mm. I feel like it's not entirely reliable to fully trust anything that Patches is telling us, especially given the
No,
very sudden change. But I can only operate off of what they're telling us, because otherwise I'm going in completely blind. But
something you should be very aware of is that there are beings that exist, planes that exist, that sole purpose is to find any connection they can to devour or destroy other planes.
Mm.
And they will lie, make you believe, trick your mind, anything they can to make that job easier.
I'm aware. It's why I don't trust any of this. And why I feel like an absolute idiot for going with them. But I know they're going to go no matter what I say.
More than likely, from the sounds of it.
Mm. And it doesn't matter what I say about Patches. They've connected to them at a familial level, seeing them like a child. So there's not really any stopping them from trying to help them separate from buttons.
I mean, there is a simple way to stop this all before it goes any further.
Mm.
You could simply use a plane's killer on buttons and end it all. Granted, that would likely kill buttons, but it would at least stop any further harm coming.
I can't.
It's an option.
I can't
I
even.
wouldn't obviously make you do that.
The only reason I'm helping with this is to try and protect buttons. That's not an option.
The worry I have is if you or any of the others go into this place and you become tethered like Buttons has, and we have to fix things to put things back right, if it is in fact insidious, Quill, would mean that you and everyone else who entered that plane likely have to also be rid of.
Mm.
If you're accepting that, then I trust your judgment. But every one of them should know that before they enter, that that is what they could likely be signing themselves up for. They should have the full context of the situation before they make that choice. I'm not saying it's a necessity. I'm not even saying it's guaranteed. Just want them to know that the possibility of that being the case is there.
Mm. I don't like any of it, honestly.
Neither do I. But I feel a little bit better, at least, that I'll have your eyes on it. So if things are going awry, trust your keen mind.
Mm.
Between you and Leaf and whatever I can conjure up, I'm sure we can find out some solution that can help.
Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of time. At least not to...
I meant after you go through.
That's more... Yes.
I intend to use the nuclear option as the last option, generally. There are typically a few others to try beforehand.
Mm. I assumed. I'm just not in the best headspace. Which I know makes it even dumber to do this, but
As long as you're aware, I don't have to give you the full 3-hour lecture about why that's an awful idea with potential.
I'm aware. But unfortunately, there's no one else that can do it.
That is, unfortunately, probably quite true. Those who would know enough about it are not to say that you're not powerful, Quill, but on the scheme of some of the individuals who could do it, frightening.
Yes. I am at the perfect point of knowledge to power level.
Power ratio, yes.
I have the capability of being very strong, but I'm not strong myself. I don't have the knowledge of how to use any of it.
Maybe it would be a good idea if I stood with Leaf, potentially, if it's not too much.
I wouldn't mind it.
Please give us a little extra watch in case the you that comes out actually does know how to use that power, because we have no idea what they're going to be like.
It's apparently very perception-based, and it varies not just from... In this case, not just it varies from other mirror worlds. It varies from person to person. One might be the opposite in their personality, whereas one might be opposite in their life. So I don't know what's going to come out for mine.
How do the other ones know to come out? Do they just hear when you pass over?
They follow exactly what you're doing. So right now, in the mirror world, your mirror self and mine are in the exact same positions. Maybe they're doing something different, but they're in the same positions.
They're discussing crossing over themselves and how they're going to dominate this world. I know I would do that if I could, like, a good chance being evil.
Possible.
Well, alright.
But that means a mirror version of myself could be any number of things. It could be a version of myself that never stopped being a construct. It could be what I view as the opposite of myself. It could be what I view as the scarier version of myself, or a whole number of things. And I don't know which one that will be. Technically, it could be a combination of many of them. I know at
So
least what
technically,
I...
it could.
I saw a very brief glimpse of mine. And if it is what I thought it was, at least from a power scale, we won't have to worry too much. But I don't know if it is really that, or if I was just tired.
Mm.
Because I only saw it very briefly.
We'll say, if this is an evolving plane, one which has recently developed and is quickly changing, even if Patches were in fact telling the truth, Patches themselves may not know exactly what this plane is like. So do keep your wits about you.
Mm.
You're going in completely blind. I wouldn't trust the knowledge one way or the other. Even if Patches were in fact telling the truth about everything, Patches themselves may not know what has befallen their plane the time they've been out of it.
Very much so. It seems like things could have rapidly changed. At least, thankfully, I won't have to actually meet my mirror self, but I know that everyone else will have to deal with it. If you do stay with Leaf, if you could make sure it doesn't get to his head, that would be helpful.
I'll do my best.
One of the quests I went on, I joined a guild. I saw what, at least to me, seemed like a very opposite version of Leaf, and it very much got to my head. I honestly almost didn't get out, if it wasn't for others.
I'm fortunate that I have experienced over and over again different versions of my loved ones. Even before I started walking the plains.
Mm.
You learn to become numb to their thoughts. You just do what's necessary. If I can impart such a lesson upon Leaf, then I shall.
There is a key part that's important. Any injuries that come to the mirror selves while here will end up coming to us.
Yes, I
Apparently
figured.
only once we leave. So, from what they described, if someone cuts off a mirror Quill's arm, when I get out,
When you
my arm will
return,
fall
you
off.
won't be without arms. There are
So,
ways to restrain, though, without harming.
I'm aware, I just thought it would
I
be
can.
pertinent to note.
Yes. If they become too difficult, I'll just form an ice rune upon them. Make them into a statue for a little bit. Might make you a bit stiff when you come out, but if it works, it works.
Better than the alternative.
Do you have a weapon, Quill?
I can cast a single harming spell. Unfortunately, I haven't gotten a much larger grasp on magic since we last met. Right now, all I can manage to do is dancing lights, thaumaturgy, and prestidigitation. I can cast a shield, and I can push out a burst of mana. But it doesn't really harm things so much as it pushes them away.
Would you like a weapon? That is the way I could aid you.
I wouldn't know how to use it.
No, but it would be useful to have something just in case. And what I'm suggesting isn't exactly. Not going to give you like a sword or anything of that sort. Something useful for you.
Hmm.
I was thinking of a focus of some sort.
I'm not sure if I need one. I can't cast any magic
There are many
unless
people
I'm
who don't
holding my
need
book.
focuses.
It seems like my book
Hmm.
acts as a focus. I can't cast anything, not even cantrips without holding it.
Hmm.
Which is unfortunate given I have recently become fully aware that that is my soul, and if it receives any damage, I do triple. So unfortunately, I'm quite literally holding my heart in my hands. But in this case, it's my soul, so it's technically worse.
And maybe not a weapon, but something defensive.
Mm.
Like a book cover. I don't think that is a defensive item, but
Not something you would uh, typically think of one, but in this case, kind of.
hmm. Within a few days, I could make something up, maybe. That could at least give you a little bit more protection around your soul.
We only have till tomorrow. Tomorrow night.
In that case, I can make something rudimentary, but I can make something.
Mm.
Something flexible and steady. Something with mithril.
I've never actually put anything on it before.
I will see if
I
it
guess
works. If it
worn
doesn't, I can
something?
remove it.
Mm.
Mithril is monoconductive and lightweight. If I make it sheen enough, it won't harm any of the pages either, which is the most important thing about it.
Mm.
But it
I
will at least protect you from some slashing and burning.
I feel everything that touches it. So,
Other than it'll feel like you're wearing like chainmail.
might be a little heavy, but it'll be better than getting uh,
That is the
dead.
glory of mithril. It's actually an incredibly light metal despite its steadiness.
Oh, that's nice.
That's why it's so useful for mages. The issue is it's usually quite expensive, but again, with my existence, I've gathered quite a lot of different materials from different places.
Mm.
I can spare a bit on you,
Thank you.
of course. It's about the only thing I can really do for you in there, other than the stability and the water crystal.
Mm.
Actually, might not be able to do a water crystal. It usually takes 4 days to make one of those. I don't think I have one ready. So runes and a sleeve for your book,
Mm. Is there anything I
and
can
then
do to
just
help?
standby leave when things are going on. Extend time to 3 more days to make it a lot easier for me would be great.
Unfortunately, I
No,
don't think I can convince those, honestly, children to change their minds, but I meant more
it's fine.
physically helping.
Um, yes. When you return, you shall learn how to make a seafoam brew, so that when I return here, I can have seafoam brew.
I can do that. I would have anyways.
Very good. This is a bargain. Right. Then I will prepare a adventure pack like I used to for the guild for your trip.
Mm. You definitely have my thanks.
Least I can do
And
for a
I'm sure
friend.
Leafs as well. I haven't seen
Well,
him.
I'm sure I'll get it from Leaf when I see him anyway.
I haven't seen him this week, but he was very concerned about the idea of me doing this. For good reason.
Can't imagine why.
I
Yes.
I have no idea.
As someone who has been berated for hours by his worried wife for leaving off on a mission that was obviously incredibly dangerous. Yes, I'm well aware of what the looks you've received beyond the week have been.
Especially considering twice since he came back, I've been injured. First, when he came
Ah,
back, I had the scar, and after that, I got injured from the mission where I saw a mirror him, kind of. And at least that one, he had to actually help me recover from it. My pages got burnt. The pages haven't healed. I don't know if they can heal. I'm trying to work with an artificer to fix it. I don't actually know what I've forgotten. Which is
well,
another
that
thing
wouldn't stand to
that
be-
happens, by the way. If
Hmm.
if any pages get injured or altered, my memory is altered.
I feel like I actually remembered that one. I think you told me that some time ago when one of our misguided pathfinders tried to heal you.
Right. I just recently
Yes.
made a joke about that.
Well, at least you haven't forgotten that one, though
Nope.
you probably should have. That was an awful experience.
Would have been nice, actually, if I could have forgotten that.
Mm.
That was very painful. For really the entire time I was recovering from it.
Yeah, considering the nature of the spell they cast on your specific body, not the best play.
No. I was purple.
Mm-hmm. You were indeed purple.
I haven't had that happen since.
That is good, because that type of spell can likely kill you rather quickly, given
Mhm.
your makeup.
Especially considering I'm no longer in the Whispering Wood, which was mana rich and very healthy for me to be in.
Mm-hmm. I will note that as a property of the sleeve that I'll be making for you, you may find it assist in making casts a little bit more efficient. May not be a huge increase, but you may find you could use a little bit more than you were able to.
Well, thankfully, barring really going overboard, I don't have to worry about mana too much.
Well, now you have less to worry about.
Technically, the only problem of having to worry about the mana is it's technically my blood. And everything else.
That is a worry.
So I'm fairly certain if I did ever completely run out of mana, that I would die. But that would take a lot.
You are aware that that is normal for all beings with mana, right?
Yes, but
Okay.
it's not like I cast until I can't imagine it's like I cast until I'm out of spell slots and then I'm pulling from my life force.
No, it's
I'm just
probably like
always
the instant.
pulling from my life force.
Yeah. Yes. Except your life force regenerates
Yes.
the area around it, I imagine.
Mm.
I mean, there are worse things that could happen if you run out of mana.
From what I
You could
understand,
become a mana ghoul.
I don't even know what that is.
I was that once. It sucked.
I would.
Basically, you Your mana channels collapse in on themselves, and you become mindless because of the overcharge of electricity in your brain, and so you become attacking and killing everything near you,
Oh,
using all the mana in the area around you. It's very frightening.
I hope I know.
They had to kill me.
I hope that doesn't happen.
I hope it doesn't happen either, Quill.
Especially given I'm very efficient from
Granted, I don't think
at
it can
pulling mana
happen to you.
from everything else, because that's just how I exist.
I'm fairly certain, given that you are what I would classify as a mana creature, you would just cease to exist.
I think so. I don't know what I am. I'm so far going off
You're a
of the
Quill.
true. I'm basically at this point kind of calling myself an arcane homunculus, because that makes sense. And it's just vague enough that it doesn't really say anything.
Amusingly, the two of us are not very far apart in race, then. At least nowadays.
At least nowadays. Except you're a little more
Given that this body was
water
created
capable.
by magic. Actually, my body was created by a
Same.
mantis, if you believe it.
I would believe it. I think you've told me about them before, actually.
Yeah, she's quite marvelous.
Mm.
Marvelous mantis.
But technically, same thing, just different means.
Though, I mean, if you ever wanted to make sure you didn't accidentally perish, you could, in theory, do what I've done and make a phylactery. I guess that technically makes me a lich. Am I a lich?
Well,
Oh my god, I'm a lich.
well,
I'm a water lich.
At least based on how my book has been explained to me, it might already be something like that.
Oh,
My soul
well,
isn't in my body. It's in the book.
you should stop carrying that book.
I can't. If it gets
That'd be
too
so much
far
more
away, it hurts.
I see.
So I can only assume if it gets further than that, then it will probably kill me. Before, my
I would
book was
imagine.
attached to me with a chain, literally. Now it just kind of floats by itself.
Interesting
And mostly I
with the change, though. That means
keep
it can be altered.
My book used
Maybe
to
in the
be
future
like
you'll find some
this
way
big.
to.
Somehow it condensed itself down when Hybris and the others put it back together. When I went to this new body, it was kind of torn apart, weirdly.
Yeah. All similar yet again. I was just thinking that eventually in the future, perhaps you could find a way to. I just thought of an issue.
Mm.
That book is you, but it is a different entity, yes?
Not. I don't know the answer to that. I don't think so. None of the damage that comes to my body goes to the book, but all of the damage to the book goes to me.
I
And
understand.
the book existed.
Yes.
The book was with my previous body, but is also now connected to my new body. And my book used to technically be about that size, but it got larger the more knowledge I accrued. Just like my body got larger. My old one. and now it's condensed itself into a smaller form.
I'm just curious if that is where your soul is, then the other realm would technically be copying that, not you.
Uh, that makes it much more complicated.
It does make it more complicated. Granted, you are what your soul is. I mean, your personality is part of your soul. They are interconnected.
Well,
It's just that I have no idea how it would replicate that with your specific
it makes it
situation.
even more complicated because I recently talked to Skiggs, the Lich that would come by,
Hmm.
Pathfinders, to help with related issues.
Mhm.
My soul isn't one thing, it's two halves. Half is artificial, like something created it, and the other is the soul of who I was supposed to be mimicking. A human soul.
You have
So,
3 complications.
I have a lot of complications.
I'm not so sure you going in there is such a good idea, Quill.
It's better than you or Leaf going.
Yes, for different reasons, but I'm more worried about I mean, what it could do to you. Have you plane walked before?
I've gone
I don't know how
fairly
others
deep
plane
into
walk.
the
When I plane walk, it
Feywild,
requires
or
condensing my
the
form into my soul form.
Whispering Wood, but I've not gone to another plane. I've never gone through to the Feywild. I've just gone deeper into the Whispering Wood, which is more and more connected to the Feywild.
Well, the Shadowfell and Feywild surround the material plane, and moving between them isn't necessarily that difficult. It's when you step into whole different dimensions, different realms, full new planes. I transport by moving to a soul form to enter through portals and move that way. I don't know how you're entering this place, but if it affects your soul, I'm worried about what. I don't want you to unravel.
This is very complicated.
It is very complicated. You know, for safety's sake, I'm just gonna prepare 3 stability runes, and one's just gonna go on you. I think that's the only thing I can do to make sure that's as safe as I can make it.
Maybe on that.
On that. We're gonna put it on that.
Hmm.
You know what? 4 stability runes and I'm not gonna sleep. I'll just make 4 stability runes. I'll put one on you, one on the book, one on each side of the portal. Protection runes for all of you, and the mesh cover for your book.
I'm sorry.
Don't apologize. I do this because I care.
I understand, but I still feel bad.
I should have come sooner. That's what I've learned. I should have come sooner when you asked.
Maybe. But I'm sure you must have been busy. And time is
I
kind of
really
strange.
wasn't. I was sitting on the beach and was like, oh, I'm sure if it's super serious, Quill will start shouting at me again.
No,
Really enjoying the beach.
I've had my own issues. So I haven't really
Hmm.
been thinking about this for the last few days. In fact, all of those problems are related to that.
Fair play. That is a very interesting equipment. Looks like an artifact of some sort.
Mm. Honestly, it would probably be fairly, at least interesting to you, given from what I've learned, even down to how I cast magic, it's all runes.
Ooh, is of
Everything I
interest.
learn how to cast ends up being runes. Everything in
Runic
there is
language
written in runes, except
akin
it
to you.
translates itself. And I'm not entirely sure because I've never seen them before, but I think that these might be runes. Just ones I've
I
never seen.
believe that they are, but the runic language is different from culture to culture, from plane to plane, from world to world.
Mm.
There's so many runic languages, it's just a matter of learning them.
Well, then even between between the book, these, and the ones that come out when I cast, none of them are the same. They all seem to be entirely different.
Interesting.
At least in appearance, anyways.
That begs the question, which part of you is casting?
I don't know.
Because your mana connects to one soul, and if you have split souls,
Mm.
is your body one part of the soul and the casting another?
From
Perhaps
what
that is the split.
the strange part is, from what I can tell from my dreams, the human that I'm meant to, well, the half-human I'm meant to be a recreation of, they weren't a caster. I've never seen him cast magic. He seemed like a fighter, if anything.
Have you seen him at all? He bears
Every
striking resemblance to you.
every dream I've had is his memories. I've seen glimpses of what he looks like in his own reflections. He looks very much like me, but short brown hair. His eyes don't have runes in them. Doesn't have ley lines.
Hmm.
Like me, but a very generic human man.
I think it's highly possible that, at least to some extent, that part of the soul helped mold your form.
I have a working
Body
theory
and
that
mind and personality are all connected to one soul, as is magic.
mm, the dreams lately have been getting worse. That's why I went to Skeggs about it. All of those memories, they've always felt very real. At first, just because I'd never experienced dreams, I think. But progressively, as things have gone on, they've only felt more and more real. To the point that sometimes when I wake up, I can't tell the difference.
You've been writing them down.
No. And normally I wouldn't have to. Normally everything I experience ends up in there, but these don't. None of
Hmm.
those memories do. None of those memories are even in there. So in theory, I shouldn't have them, but I think that they're in that soul. Or that
Well,
section of it.
not exactly the same, but when I was much, much younger, when I met my teacher Morgan, I guess when I left my home, I had cast a spell of amnesia upon myself to forget some memories I didn't want to know. So when I arrived upon shore and met my teacher, I did not know a good portion of my life. But I was having flashes, memories, things that were coming back to me in a similar way to what you're experiencing. And my teacher, Morgan, instructed me to write down the pieces and go over them just a few times a day and see what I could recall from the dream and see if I could recall anything not from the dream. Well, it took several months for me to begin recalling things not from the dream. It did eventually help. I did end up having to use an incantation to break the spell, but I was slowly getting through it. Could be a way to help.
Mm. Skiggs has suggested a relatively drastic option to make them stop. He's worried that either they're merging or separating or something. That this other me is trying to reach out.
Do you feel any ill intent for these dreams?
Not really. At least not exactly.
What do you feel?
I don't know. I don't like them. And I don't really want them. It doesn't feel like me.
Hmm.
And it's making me more and more confused about which is real and which is fake.
Anxious, upset, maybe sometimes a little angry.
All of those and more? Mostly confused, though. I don't.
At least to that I sympathize. I did experience not the same, but something similar. Learning about someone who wasn't me, but was me.
I don't
The
entirely
situation's
like
a little more complicated, though.
that person. But obviously I was made to be that person, but I'm not. From what I can tell, they were a mercenary. I thought they were an adventurer, but I don't think they were. I've seen certain parts of their life over and over. I've seen how he died at least 20 times. From what I can recall, anyways. And those memories are always exactly the same, I think. When they repeat. They get kind of fuzzy after I wake up, but... Or at least they did. Now it's like I'm living two lives.
Hmm.
But at the same time... And I don't want that one. I just want my own. I just want to be able to be myself. Not what I was.
I understand more than you know. Have I told you about my past?
A little bit.
Who I was a long time ago?
Not very much.
Wasn't a very good person. In fact, I was an evil man. Killed people, often. Not for spite or anything, it was for power. Because I thought power was most important. That was part of the memories that I lost when I cast that spell on myself. And I was a different person when those memories coming back to me. I was more like the me you see now. but I was probably nicer than the me you see now.
Mm.
Because I had to come to terms with who I was. Even if I wasn't that person anymore, it was part of who I was now, even if I didn't like it. That's why I try and help where I can. No amount of helping others that can wipe the blood from my hands. I understand your situation is different, though I think it is altogether, in a way, similar. Because I chose not to be that man. I think you can choose not to be that person either. Even if those memories come back and forth, even if they try and overtake who you are, you know who you are. And they may affect you. They may make you do what I had to do and find out who you are again. Take a step away and learn, reinforce yourself. But you ultimately get to choose who you are. Your expenses do define you. How you react to them defines you further.
I guess I have two options in front of me right now. Technically more that branch off of those two, but two main options. I can do what Skiggs has offered, which is to remove that half of my soul. He thinks I'll be okay without it, given what I am. And he thinks that I won't be. That's the option I have that will leave me the most still myself. But I can't help but worry. I'm a construct at the end of the day. I know that I am. The me that is me isn't a real person. It's based on my own experiences, but it's artificial. Or at least it started that way. It's not like a human soul. So I can't help but worry that if I don't have that anymore, I worry if I'll still be real. And I know that that's silly, but I can't help but worry about it.
I understand the concern.
But the other
Before
option,
I say what I'm about to say, let me at least reinforce that. Sorry. Go ahead.
the option of keeping that there, I like who I am. Finally, it's taken over 10 years, but I finally do. And I don't want to go on that journey again. But I know if I'd have to either accept these dreams and accept if they even get worse, and if at some point while I'm awake I could be that person. Or I don't know.
All right. Firstly, I was going to say, whether it started artificially or not, soul is real. I do believe that if Skiggs were to remove that other part of you, I think you would remain. I understand the worry of it, but I do believe that beyond all doubts, your soul is real. I've met many a being in my life who were created artificially. Julie was created artificially. So I know without a doubt that you are real. The worry I have with separating you, I think you have a journey regardless of what choice you take. Because whether you understand it or not, that part of you is a part of you, does shape who you are. And if you take it out and remove it, it will be a lot like me erasing my memories. You will be different for it. You will still have to figure out who you are without that part of you. And you don't know how it will change you. Your soul defines a lot of who you are. Both your parts of your soul define you. Like your appearance may change, the way you think may change. With an intertwining of souls, some parts may be the you that you want, and some parts may be the you of the past. If you take out a half indiscriminately, you may lose more than you are wanting. I do think it's an option. But I think, again, with all these options, you should always understand what could be at risk. It's not as clean as removing it and you're left with just the half. The
I guess.
alternative,
Whether or not I'm actually
take it from
aware
someone
of it.
who's lived a long while. We go on journeys often in our lives, through many stages of our lives. I myself am still going through one, even after years of going through my others. That is a part of living. I wouldn't be afraid of that. It may change you to go through that journey. But if you know what you want and where you're going, it'll only change you for the ways that you wish it to.
If I don't take it out, how do I get the dreams to stop? I don't know. I don't know how much worse they'll get.
No?
I don't want to wake up at some point and be an entirely different person. I don't know the intentions of the memories. I don't know if he's trying to tell me something or if maybe it's
There is a
entirely
less
mundane in general.
nuclear option, or either way, a third option. Similar to pain walking is dream walking. You would need to find someone who has the ability to do so. I am not able to.
Mm.
But if there was someone who could walk amongst your dreams and help you guide through some of the memories, maybe you could learn more and make a decision once you have more information.
Maybe.
If you're unsure of their intentions, maybe someone with that ability to find what those intentions are. It's very possible there are no intentions there at all, and it is just your soul remembering.
One of the
You have a
things
portion of their recreated soul.
that's the strange part. That part of the soul isn't recreated. It's just torn into pieces. It's like how Skiggs presented it. It's like they had part of this person's soul. That their
Hmm.
my creator did. I don't know how he got it,
Well, even more so then.
but it was torn apart. The artificial pieces are just like holding it together.
Hmm.
And it wasn't a very good job either. Which makes sense considering my creator, at least from what I understand of him, wasn't a necromancer. He was just a artificer. Which, while I'm aware artificers can be very creative, I have never heard of one dealing with souls. Or
I would have to
creating
agree with you there.
a false soul.
If it was surrounded by artificial pieces and connected to a different path, I stand to reason for what I know about souls that those two halves would, by natural existence, want to merge, make a whole. It's unnatural for a soul to be apart. The natural form is for it to connect with itself.
I almost wonder if it would want to go with the wherever the other half is.
It's possible if the soul has moved on. Perhaps it may want to move on to whatever afterlife awaits.
I guess there's really only one way to find out.
There's a number of ways to find out.
Well,
Some of
I
them aren't
mean,
ideal.
only one non-nuclear one. I mean, Skiggs
Yes.
suggested it. I talk in my sleep, apparently, and I don't sound like myself. So, obviously, it's that soul talking. Maybe he suggested that it could be like a Jekyll and Hyde situation, almost.
And the realms of dream and death are not far apart.
Mm.
People drift between them quite often in their slumber, whether they know it or not.
I was
It's also
hoping
possible that the part of your soul is closer to the other part of it when you're asleep.
maybe the consciousnesses could be separate.
Hmm.
Uh, it was suggested that someone should try and talk to me while I'm asleep. See if they can get anything out of talking to them.
Not a bad idea.
I was going to have
Any
Leaf
other
do it, but
new information you can get is certainly.
sadly he's been, again, very busy this week, so I haven't seen him at all.
Hmm.
Which makes it fairly obvious that I haven't really been getting a lot of sleep. If it wasn't
I
already
think
obvious
that,
by how I look.
or yes, that, or any other ways you can find to get more information before you make a decision. Obviously, if you find that the part of your soul is in fact insidious and wants to dominate the rest of you, Sig's option is definitely, unfortunately, a better option.
Mm.
It's possible that is true. But I am always less inclined to move or forget any memories. I have seen almost hundreds of times now where people have wanted to reject a part of themselves or forget something that was unsavory in the past, something that was a part of them, and they've regretted it or they've died. I'd
I
rather not
guess
have that happen to you.
it's ironic. Axe was talking to me about something similar the other day. Uh, he doesn't want to be a hellhound. He's never liked being a hellhound. He wished there was some way he wouldn't have to be one anymore. But doing something like that would only change him, and I told him that. I would accept him if that was the only option, if that was something he truly felt he needed, if he could even find a way to do it. But that it's something he shouldn't do, because it will change him, or at least it's something he shouldn't take lightly. And admittedly, I should probably take my own advice. Otherwise, I'm probably setting a fairly poor example.
Well, there's a difference between wanting to change and rejecting who you are. If X sincerely wants to make a change, that is different. But if X is only making a change because they reject being a hellhound, I don't think that's right.
I don't think it's just that he wants
Being
it
a
to.
hellhound is part of who they are, what made them who they are. They should accept that and change if they still wish to.
I think it's, at least right now, more of a rejection. It, it's kind of always seemed like he rejects himself. I've been trying to make it. I've been trying to help how I can.
Mm.
But it's not the easiest thing to do, considering his background.
It is rough. And then there's situations are difficult to manage. But support and caring for him, I think he'll make it through. He's got a pretty good parent to watch over him.
I'm still frighteningly new to it.
Even being frighteningly old to it, it's still difficult. Trust me, it does not get easier. They will keep throwing curveballs at you, no matter how old they get.
I do wish I had a little bit of practice with it. Younger, if I'm honest. But
To be honest, you missed out on the worst. But I do cherish those younger years.
I'm glad I decided to adopt him. I mean, even if I haven't seen him grow like a child, I've seen him change and grow since we met him in Pathfinders. And despite the fact that our reunion, he hasn't had any freakouts or hurt anyone since. And that was a lot bigger of a problem for him before. I'm honestly really proud of him.
Good that he's making positive changes.
He's actually surprisingly good at working at the tavern. He's kind of better than me. He's very fast and really good at math. I wish I was that good at math.
Sound like me bragging about Julian now.
I could very easily brag about him.
I can see by the way your face lights up when you start.
He had an accident with losing the mana crystals recently and turned very small. And while I know it's not his natural
Fortunately,
form,
it sounds really cute.
it is admittedly the cutest thing I've ever seen. It only
You take your time
happened.
with the smaller axe.
It only happened once before, in Pathfinders. Uh, something with him. It's always an accidental shift in form. From what I can tell, I think it's his body's way of trying to conserve energy and make him healthier. A smaller
Very
form,
likely.
less need to worry about taking care of things. It's kind of worrying when he's small because I know it's probably because something bad happened, but he's so cute and so tiny. That's why all of this
Oh,
is
good.
really confusing. I have
Well, I
two.
think it would all be confusing without the.
Mm,
You just have even more
all of.
complications.
For the first time in my life, I'm extremely happy with where I am. But I'm also having more complications than I ever have. Most of them internal.
It helps to know one of the best lessons Morgan ever taught me was to get very okay with change, because it is inevitable.
Mm. I should be used to it by now.
Morgan herself was an interesting being. She had to shift between 3 stages of existence every cycle. She was a young woman, a maiden, an older woman, and a crone. She continuously shifted. Made get used to dealing with that shift as her students. It's a bit of a hard lesson on change, especially when one of them was not exactly the kindest and caused quite a stir.
Mm.
Killing your own teacher is very difficult to deal with.
I can only imagine.
Fortunately, her existence is one that returns. Not sure what traumatized version of Lucian you would have if that were the case. I do wish I could get some extra advice from her on this, though. She would know a lot more about the runes than me.
Mm.
I haven't seen her in millennia now. I have no idea what plane she resides on anymore.
Hopefully someday you meet her again.
Lovely. If I do, I'll send her your way.
Mm.
Actually, maybe now would be a good time near a Nexus plane to try scrying on her. Something to think on. She would certainly be a good teacher for many of us. Magics, transmutation, runecraft, everything I learned, she taught me.
I definitely need more help learning all of this. I've sadly come to realize I can't be like a wizard, at least. I can't learn spells from tomes. I have plenty of tomes up there, and even more in my actual library. But I can't learn anything from them. I have to actually.
You're a sorcerer.
I need to be physically taught, I think. Or shown how to do it. All the cantrips I learned them by actually seeing someone else do it. And the other two, they just came about because I needed them. So I do think it's kind of
Well, if we had more
sorcerer-like.
time, I would teach you Ice Knife, but I don't know if we have enough time for me to teach you a full combat spell.
And I would try and at least practice or hone my spells that I do know, but I probably shouldn't wear myself out even more, considering how little sleep I've been getting.
You should sleep a lot before you go in.
I'm going to try my best.
Because, first of all, You're going to need to bear as much fortitude as you can, physically, but mentally you should be as prepared as possible. And if you're tired, Lord knows the hallucinations your mind could come up with.
Mm. I'm going to do my best. I'll sleepy time tea, gentle ocean sounds or something.
Still leave and make him pat your hair for an hour. That'll do it. Works for me every time.
I'll see if I can call him.
I need to get to work. I have a lot of things and my own sleep to not get to.
Mm.
But I will probably pop around after all this is over for some of that seafoam I'll teach you how to make.
Please do. Or even just to come by to visit.
Yes, I shall. I'll also convince Julie too, because I think she's getting stir crazy sitting in the demi-plane. Oh, right. Speaking of which, yeah. For you.
Hmm?
That is entrance into our home.
Oh.
Oh, and one for Leaf as well.
I'll make sure he gets it.
It allows you and one other person to enter into the demi-plane where we reside. Though, again, I will tell you the same thing I told the others. If you bring someone with you, take them out with you, because I don't want to wake up and have a random person walking around on my lawn.
I
And
would never.
if you bring someone with you, make sure it's someone you trust, because I don't want to have to kill someone who's randomly walking on my lawn. And additionally, just if you have to use it in a difficult situation, you're more than welcome, but just know that wherever you use it from, you will return there.
Mm.
So yes, enjoy.
I will make sure to bring by snacks. What type of food does Julie like?
Oh, I mean, yes, but sweets.
Okay. I can do sweets.
You can set a location as a home with those as well. Just think of home while you're holding it in the place you want to be home, and you can use it as sort of a teleport from one place to the different plane to home.
Ah.
It's
Understood.
a new feature. I made it for Cordelia.
Mm.
All
You'll
right,
have
Quill.
to tell me more about everything that's been going on at some point. Maybe over sea break.
Oh, you know. I stay boring. What do you mean?
You are hardly boring, Lucian. And I've met a lot of people.
Well, I guess I'll take your word for it.
Including many
Give Leaf my
seafaring. I will. Thank you. I'll see you tomorrow, I
See
guess.
you in a day's time.
Just make sure you don't lose track of it.
Nonsense. I never lose track of time.
Ooh, careful. You just seek to hit me, don't you? I think you do. Especially in small spaces. Oh,
Hello.
demi-plane unlocked. Hooray.
Demiplane unlocked. New area. Explore.
Whee! And new lore.
New lore. Yo, you
There's-
get that new lore?
There's like 3 whole... You can fit so many rune languages in this boy. And no one has yet been able to figure out what at least these ones mean, even though it's really obvious. It's
You need to read a book.
it's really obvious.
Read a book. Read a book.
Yeah.
I'll read this book.
Read that book. Where is it? Where's my... Yeah. Read this book.
Yeah, we put a fancy book cover on it so it's safe.
Yeah. I have to see if I can model a
Battle
little,
book.
little armor. Little book armor.
Yeah, a little book armor.
No, it
A little
doesn't.
safer.
It doesn't have
What
smut in
doesn't?
it, Kitty Coffee. There's no smut in there. Yet.
Well, that depends.
Yet.
There might be a lot of smut in there soon.
Yet. Because that one hasn't done anything.
How dare.
Nothing. Nothing. Well, actually, he's red.
How is that a cat?
There's 2 cats. There's 2 kitties. We got the Maine Coon, and then we got the other little kitty.
Other little kitty. Hello.
And now we have a pride flag.
Woo!
And perfectly matches the color schemes. Woo!
Hell yeah.
I accidentally made
Sure.
Quill's Tavern's color scheme the same color scheme as his representative pride flag. I know I did that. Yeah. Because Quill is all the blues and Leaf is all the greens. And I made the tavern blue and green
Blues and greens.
because Quill and Leaf. There's also a lot of plant representation.
Is this the Blink Shrine?
Yes. Yes, it's the
I
Blink
love it.
Shrine.
I love it.
Ooh, look at all these pictures of Blinks. Look, we even got him in
Look at
Vincent's
these,
apartment.
Look at this god.
Look at this god. He's godly.
Godly.
Look at all this power in his little tiny
Look,
paws.
We love Blinks in this house.
We love Blinks in this house. I want you to know all of so I don't know if you've noticed yet. Do you know what these runes are?
This one and this one look familiar.
That's because they're Atlantis. The movie. And also, they
Amazing.
are it is actual written out words. So are these. All of these are also written out words.
I love you. Listen, I'm glad you kept the badges.
Yeah. We worked hard on those. We worked really hard on those.
All that wood lore is not going.
It's not gone. It's right here, baby.
This is 5 hours of wood lore.
That is 5 hours of wood lore that me and Lulu worked tirelessly on.
The deep lore about wood
The
lore. man.
deep wood lore.
I want
love
you
it.
all in her chat to understand that these are ranked by strength. By
Actual
literal
hardness, wood strength.
We went through how hard these woods were to rank these.
We worked so hard on this.
We're very dumb, but we did.
We're very dumb, but we're very proud. And you know what? I'm also still really proud of that fucking texture. That one looks so good.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of it.
Is this the ironwood?
Yes. It's ironwood and then green heart.
Yeah. Yeah, because green heart. Green
Heart is
scary.
actually-
We never
yeah,
saw
green-
green heart.
We never saw green heart.
For
Because
good reason.
Blinks could technically be
Green heart is reality ending. Blinks,
Blinks could technically be. Blinks and Cell.
He's in my green heart.
It's in my green heart. Life bringer!
Life bringer. Bringer
love-
of life.
Bringer of life.
Alright.
Ah.
My leggies hurt.
Get out of VR. Get some sippies.
I'm gonna get out of VR. I might get some food too, because I'm hungry.
Get some
That's really
food.
what it was. I felt my stomach grumble, and I was like, damn, I'm hungry.
Get out of here. I'm gonna also get off and go help with Crispy's stream. If you visit, I will see you there. If not, I will see you later. I love you, Lulu.
I
love you.
feel
And I miss you.
drained. I don't know if I'm gonna shop or not. I
Do
love
some
you,
rest then.
and I miss you. I miss my plant wife.
One day. Where's Plant Wife?
I'm gonna go download Honkai Star Rail so I can see future Stark. See you later.
Goodbye, Stark. Go have fun with future Stark. I'll just be present Flora. My hand's crunchy. Oh, it's so glowy in this map. I forgot I added a mission to it. I always forget that I add a mission to all of Flora's models. Even though it's never going to be used. Yeah. Glowy. It's glowy. It's glowy. It's amazing. Ooh. Alright, and I still have all the gestures on here, even though I don't need them. No, it's not Present Flora. We don't know what Present Flora looks like. And we won't know what Present Flora looks like. Present Flora doesn't exist. Present Flora can't hurt you. Yeah, we don't even know if she's still alive. She could be dead. She could be dead as dead. She could be dead as dead. But she's so pretty. I love her. Because Flora will not have any introduction until to Metaverse until actual things are planned out. Not planned out until things are seen. There's like minuscule possibility, but I would want Lulu to be fully in with it. So Flora is so interconnected to Stark at this point that it's like they're married. They're not married. They will be. They will be. Go smooch. Present Flora goes in the basement. Basement. And go in the basement. We have a basement, technically. This is technically a basement. It's an outdoor. It's like a. It's underground. A little bit. How underground are we? Yeah, we're underground. Actually, why don't we have this roof feature? Why is the roof covered up? Why? Oh, that's why. That's why. This is where the Lost and Found is. This is where Lost and Found is, chat. Lost and Found's in here. In the walls! It's in the goddamn walls! Hello. Sidemen? Sidemen. Yeah. Boss level. Quest giver, Earth Mother, Old Lady Flora. Old Lady Flora. I also want Old Lady Flora. I want Old Lady Flora and Old Man Stark. I want Grandma and Grandpa Stark. I want them to have little blankets and sit on a porch. Hang out with Zeffy. But not like Zeffy in the ring, but just like Zeffy. Because I want Zeffy to be free. I want him to take care of the little babies. Little plant babies. Little plant human babies. I love them. Because there's technically potential for Flora to exist in Metaverse. Though there's not baseline potential for Stark to. Stark would have to become something else or receive a blessing from something to live this long. Flora technically could. Because there is no stated age for plant skin. I didn't specifically plan it out how old they would become. But Flora would, if she could, if she is capable of being that old, would be very old. Plant-based babies. So Faye touched Stark. Yeah. I will give no answers. Yeah. Oh. Water's not as deep as I thought there. Wet. Ooh. Not a bad shader. Honestly. Pretty good. Pretty good shader. Ooh! Flora of the pond. I just miss being in this avatar. I was gonna get off so I can get ready to go help with the stream, but I'm so distracted because I haven't been in Flora's avatar in forever, and I love it. I miss Flora. I love her. Know that I miss Flora just as much as you guys do. Know that when you miss Flora, you are not alone in missing Flora, because I also miss Flora, and I really want Flora back because I love her. I love her so much. She's my favorite. She's my baby. Especially this. Look at this. Look at this smug little fucking grin. Look at this. Look at this smug ass. I love her. Cord and Flora are probably my favorite characters. Cord, Flora, and Quill. They are probably my favorites. And I play favorites. Cord, Flora, and Quill. Quill is technically my oldest character of VR chat. He's baby. Eee. I think Flora and Rizzy are probably the main introduction characters for people. I think most people joined my streams either on Rizzy or on Flora. And a very, very rare amount joined on some of my very old characters. But most are Flora or Rizzy. I'm glad. I'm glad you did, because I'm very happy that you're here. And I'm glad that you enjoy Flora as much as I do. You joined Pumpkinhead. Oh my goodness. The original Pumpkinhead? Or like the Pumpkinhead that was reintroduced? I think you've been on a long time, Cholo, so I think you're meaning the old Pumpkinhead. Joined on Cord but stayed. Oh, original. Oh god. Pumpkin's so old. Pumpkin is literally my oldest. She's not active anymore, so I don't refer to her as my oldest. There was a campfire. Oh my fuck. Oh my Christ, my guy. Holy fuck. That's like old. That's like old. That's, you've been around since like basically the beginning of my VR chat RP stuff. Because I technically did still do RP, but I did the YouTube side of RP, which was Nags. And I don't know that I would count the same way. Ripping came from Amazon. I did. I came from Amazon. I came in the Amazon box. Joey Kari was still alive. Ugh. That's so long ago. I haven't been in this game for so long. Oh my god. The oldest ribbons. The oldest ribbons. Don't look at those. Pajama pumpkin. Pajama pumpkin. Am I like fully? No, I'm not fully transparent. It's just these don't like the mirrors don't like the shader. I miss Flora very much. I miss Flora. I miss a lot of my old characters. Playdate with Purge. I survived Purg. That was my old thing. I survived Purg. That was actually my first delve into VRCHAT proper. Was that that section. Oh my god, it's so shiny. Oh my goodness. Why are you so shiny?
I'd like to be shiny. Oh my god, it's so shiny. I can't remember I had like a specific one. I had a specific one that would make it so I could hold this. Like baby cord. What the fuck? They're even being I'm not a little brat. Don't talk about me like that. Hi, hello.
Next month I will have been actively. Oh! I miss Kari. Which one's? Bubble. 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 Oh, it's so fucking shiny. It's so pretty. I love it. Ah, if only the original Ascension map had bloom in emission. Bubble.
Bubble. This is my bubble. Technically, Cassidy already does a bubble. She just doesn't do a bubble that looks like this. She already does a bubble. I just used a particle instead of a mesh. She already bubbles. By the way, if you guys already didn't know, it's been kind of revealed in the only way that will ever be possible, that Kari, that Cassidy is the actual literal reincarnation of Kari. It would never be revealed in like an actual RP sense, because I don't know how anybody would do that. I don't know how that would be possible. But it's true. If there ever is a way that's revealed, then it will. But yeah, and I don't think there's anybody that actually had soul vision then. Thank you so much for subbing, Maxman. Hello. Rise and Kari would have been an absolute treat. Kari and Ellie would have even been a pretty funny situation. Because Kari is very different than Ellie, but they're very similar background. Shizu didn't see Kari, so well, actually no, because I think was Shizu around when Kari was alive? Was she? I don't think she was. She was? She was? I don't remember. Oh, right. Yeah, no, I'm stupid. I'm dumb. Okay? I'm dumb. I don't remember because they didn't have like really big interactions like some of the others. It was like 4 years, like 5. It was a lot of years ago. Yeah, no, then Shizu would be able to recognize it. She would be able to see that the soul has reincarnated and changed, but she would still know that it's technically that. Like, it would basically have to be some, like, there's a very small amount of scenarios where someone could actually figure out that this is a reincarnation of Kari, that Cassidy's reincarnation of Kari. But even then, what would they do with that information? Like, if someone told, like, Cassidy, oh, I can see with your soul that at some point you were a fish. Then Cassidy would be like, oh, that's cool. Because they would also tell him, like, you were also this at one point, and that at one point. You've had multiple lives because technically, if souls reincarnate, then yeah, it has to be like meat. Maybe that's why I've always had an affinity with water. A fin. Did you catch that? But I'm not as good at my fish puns as I was before, but I'm still Triton. Ha. Arbor would be very sad, yeah. Hello, Wolf. Hello. I love Kari so much. There is still technically a possibility, a possibility that you may see Kari again, but it will not be in the same way as before. She will always be different. But for now, you get Cassidy. Possibility. I was a fish? Want a cheesecake?
Cassidy isn't the same in any way to Kari. Well, she's very similar to Kari. She has a lot of the similar. She has a very similar personality, and she has a lot of the same like core things to her. Obviously, she looks even a little bit like Kari does. She has very big eyes. She has a very round face. That's intentional. I made her intentionally kind of soft looking to look a little like Kari. But Cassidy is very different from Kari in a lot of ways. Cassidy is wildly different in a lot of ways. She has a different sets of morals. It's nature versus nurture. There are things that she has that are naturally the same as Kari, but there's a lot of things that are nurtured into her. Some things that are actually similar to Kari's storyline, but ended up like ending differently. I don't know why I can see my hair. Anyways, I'm gonna do what I said I was gonna do, and I'm gonna get off now so I can go and help with the charity stream. Okay? Okay. We are going to raid, obviously, Miss You. Obviously. Because I'm about to head over there after I get this thing off my face. And yeah. I'm gonna help with her stream until I have to go to bed. Thank you for coming. Thank you for staying. I hope you guys had a wonderful time today. And I will see you guys tomorrow for Quill's little mission. All right. Goodbye, Gobbles. I'll see you over there.